the record button here. Okay, got it recording. All right, so like I said, my name's Amber Chin, and I'm so blessed and excited to have you here with us tonight. And what I do this for, and the reason that I do this every single month, is because I myself discovered in growing up and maturing and just grasping life that there's a lot of difficult topics in the world. There's a lot of difficult topics when you're a woman. There's a lot of difficult topics when you are in business and when you are a parent and all of these different things. And so there's so many different topics that we could touch on, and there's no really direct source of information that goes to us. And we can go out and we can read books and we can do self-helps and we can do all of these things and we can learn, but wouldn't it be cool if we had a person that could go out and gather all of this information for us and then bring it to us and show us what it's about? And so that's what I'm doing with the Power Hour. Don't feel sorry for me. I love research, okay? I am a research queen. It feeds my passion. I enjoy doing it. And so on this topic alone, I've spent probably 60 hours just learning and researching and studying and reading books and taking tests and different assessments and just trying to feel out what was going to be the best information to share with you on purpose. What is purpose? Why have we been brought here to this earth? What can we share during our time here on earth that is going to make a difference, that is going to change the lives of the people that we share our message with? And so I felt like this was a really deep topic, and I could make it as deep as I wanted to. And so I wanted to share with you the things that I've found that have made me go, wow, that's powerful. I can take something and do something with that. I can relate to that message. I can relate to what that book's telling me. I can relate to what this assessment's telling me. And so as I started my journey of researching, that is what I did when it came to the topic of purpose. And so I'm really excited to share with you. We have an awesome guest joining us tonight, Miss Lisa Blanc, and I am unapologetically a follower of Jesus. Okay, I love Jesus with everything and every fiber of my being. That is who I am, and that's what I'm called to do, is share the message of Him. So as you're on the call today, I want you to know that I've prayed about the right person to be on this call, and Lisa kept getting put on my heart. To me, she's the perfect person and the perfect example of what it looks like to be purposeful in life. And she's the perfect example of loving life and loving everything about life, despite hard circumstances, despite the storms, despite all the things that's happened. She has stayed on track, and it is this beautiful thing. And I've known her for years, and she's just this beautiful person, and she's always got a smile on her face, and she's always just got this beautiful light that shines from her. And so when she was laid on my heart, it wasn't any surprise to me that she was the right person for this call. And so I'm going to go ahead and do a screen share. So you people that are calling in, you're not going to be able to see because you're on the phone. But if you are on the actual link, you will be able to see the slideshow that I have prepared to share with you tonight. And so as we're jumping in to the topic, it's very helpful. Actually, shoot, I was going to have that pulled up and ready to go, but guess what? I didn't. So I have to go pull it up real quick. Let me see here. All right. Hold on 1 second, girls and guys, if there's guys on here. I got it. Okay. It's opening. Okay. let's go back to screen share. Here we go. Can everybody see the PowerPoint? Yes, okay, I'm getting nods, so that's good. All right, we're gonna go from the start. So here is the definition of purpose. If you came to this call, you didn't know what purpose was, then, well, now you do. Purpose is the reason for which something is done or created, or for which something exists. And so sometimes, actually not sometimes in life, all the time in life, we struggle with what our purpose is. We have things that happen that define us, that make us start wanting to seek our purpose more or less, or we want to redefine it. And so as I go throughout this call and as I'm sharing with you, I want you to remember that we don't have one set purpose. We don't have one set call. So you see, that is changed over time, and we become different people throughout our lifetime. And so it's this beautiful array, it's a beautiful rainbow, I guess you'd say, of different colors. And sometimes the colors move around on us. Sometimes the colors change. Sometimes they go lighter, sometimes they go darker. And at the end of this journey, we have this beautiful rainbow of colors that have molded and shaped and changed throughout. And so before we start this presentation, I always like to start everything that I do in prayer. And so if you would like to pray with me, would you just bow your heads real quick? And we're just going to say a really, really quick prayer and start this with a bang. And so, dear Lord, thank you so much for letting us all be here tonight via technology. Thank you for all the people that created the technology that brought everybody across all the nations together through their hands and through your gifts that you gifted them and the purpose that you had on their life to bring us all together today, Lord. Lord, I just pray for every single person on this call. I pray that you have an open heart and an open mind. I pray that they feel you, they feel your presence and your warmth. I pray for Lisa as she speaks. I pray for myself. Let every word that I say and the meditations of my heart and my hands and everything that I do just be a light to them and encourage them and let them know that they have great purpose on their life. Lord, I just pray all of this in your high and holy name. Amen. All right. So jumping straight in to the topic. So synonyms: motivation, cause, occasion, reason, point, basis, justification. So there's so many different words that you can think about that encompass what purpose means. And so just like I said in my prayer just a moment ago, with an open heart. So I invite you to process this power hour with an open mind and an open heart. Please do not approach with any expectation or skepticism, but simply with an open intent to learn. I'm not saying you'll find your purpose by attending the power hour tonight. That depends on how far along you are on your self-development and how much thought you put into absorbing the information and how far you take the content and exercise that I'll be sharing with you tonight. And so if you come to this call with an open heart and an open mind, you're going to walk away going, wow. Okay, so I hope that you are impacted by this. So just have an open heart and an open mind as we're studying together and going about this together. You see, I want you to look at this not as me teaching y'all. I'm not teaching y'all, okay? I am walking this journey with you. I am on the road with you. I'm holding your hand. I'm walking with you because this is a topic that I very, very much needed to learn. I needed to learn. And if you want to go ahead and mute your mics when you jump on the call, that would be great. That would help me so I don't have to jump off the PowerPoint and mute everybody. So just go ahead and mute yourself. So I'm walking this journey. I was walking this journey several weeks ago. I was fighting. What am I here for? Like, why am I going through this? I don't understand, like, why I'm battling with depression. Why am I battling with anxiety? Why am I battling with this new diagnosis of being ADHD? I don't get it. Like, why do you have me here on this earth? I don't understand. Like, and I was battling this in my mind, and I could not wrap my head around why things were happening, why things had happened in my past. And I just kept questioning, why? Isn't that the rut that we get in life? We say, why? Why did this happen? Why do I move forward? Why do I stay where I'm at? Why? And when we do that, we're under analysis paralysis is what I like to call it. We're stopped. We're stopped in our tracks. We can't move forward, can't move backwards because we're questioning. And all that is fear. Complete and utter fear. Fear will stop us in our tracks. And so as I'm moving through tonight, I hope that you gain that insight. But before we move any further, I want to introduce you, and she's going to share her story in about 10 minutes. And so it's going to be so impactful, and I'm so excited for her to share her journey of finding purpose. Lisa is just amazing. And she's you see down there, closer to the bottom where it's real tiny writing, you see I have this format that I just type in this stuff and it gives me, these little memes, whatever you call them. And I typed all this stuff in, and I could not find a template for some reason that made her top 1% of the company in North America and one of the top businesses in the central region. I couldn't find anything that made that big. Every single template that I had made it real tiny. And so I was putting it all in the template, and the thought hit me. The thought hit me as I was doing that. It was totally a God thing. The thought hit me, Lisa wouldn't want it to be big. She wanted it to be the smallest thing. And so why don't I just leave it that way? And so that's what I did. Because, yeah, she may be the top 1% of her company. Her company is not little small. Her company is humongous. I'm not even sure. We'll have her tell us how many people is in her company, but it's crazy huge. But that's not her priority. Her priority have been her kids, taking care of her kids and loving them and loving the lives that they live. And that's what makes her such a beautiful person. And so just a little bit more background on her. So she's a single mother of 5 children, ages 21 through 8 years old, brave soul. She is both a Jayhawk and a Wildcat. So in Kansas, she's one of two rivals, and so we'll just say that because she went to both KU and KSU. She holds a degree in nutrition and kinesiology from K-State, and she's owned her I don't even know how to say that, upholstery and window treatment business for 7 years. She's worked with Melaleuca, the wellness company, for 15 years, and she loves being able to help others live healthier lives and loves helping people build an income to last a lifetime. She is in the top 1% of the company in North America and one of the top businesses in the central region. Ultimately, her top priority and greatest achievement of her life is her 5 beautiful children, ranging once again in the ages of 8 to 21 years old. And so, Miss Lisa, I don't know if you are unmuted or not. Let's find Miss Lisa. Where's Lisa?
Unmuted.
All right. Awesome. Okay, I'm going to go back to your slide. Okay, so tell us a little bit, Lisa, about your journey. Tell us a little bit about you finding your purpose and how that came.
Well, thank you, Amber, for inviting me to talk tonight. I don't like to talk about myself, so this is really hard for me. I'm really not good with that part. I'm good with a lot of other things, but not talking about myself. So
I know that. That's why I put that little that's why I left the top 1%. I left it tiny because I knew you didn't want to brag on yourself.
No, I don't like that. I don't like being in the limelight like that. I love to help other people, but so So you wanted me to talk about my purpose and kind of the things that have helped me to get there. And I wanted to try and relate it to other people. So there's different stages in our lives. And with my kids, I've seen that too. That in kindergarten, they try to find their independence. And then it's, I don't know, 5th or 6th grade, right around there, or middle school, and then high school again, and college. And as I was looking back to just different things in my life, I remember in kindergarten, there was a girl that she was just a little bit odd, and everybody picked on her and made fun of her. And I stood up in class one day and I said, nope, we're not going to do that. So from the very beginning, I realized that I was a protector of the little guy and people that other people look down upon or just don't respect as much. And so I've tried to always do that in my life and include people in everything that I do. So I think that's one of the things that I found is my purpose. And I'm sure each of you have probably found that in your lives at different times, that you had to be that protector, that person to include people. And if not, maybe you will find that you want to do that more. Sometimes it is choosing to do things. And I can get off topic really easily, and I'm going to try not to.
You're doing great.
Thank you. So I was thinking too, I don't remember anything specific like grade school or middle school, but in high school, I remember that I was on the basketball team, and I knew I was going to go play basketball in college. That was my goal. That's what I wanted to do. And, God had a different plan for me. And I ended up hurting my knee, injuring my knee. And that was the hardest thing for me, but it made me sit there for 3 months, icing my knee every single day, doing exercises and saying, okay, Lord, what do you want me to do? And I prayed every single day for those 2-hour ice baths that I did. So sometimes God stops us in our tracks when we think we're supposed to go one direction, and we realize that He has other plans for us.
Oh.
And that's when I realized that He had other plans. I didn't know what they were yet, but I knew that basketball was not to be that thing.
And that is so true. It's so true, because I had the same experience in college. I messed up my knee, and I had these big plans of wanting to go and pursue and play and all these different things. And sometimes, it takes an injury or it takes something happening in our life before we stop and we say, that was my plan. That's what I wanted to do. But God had a different plan for me. And this is how He's choosing to show me this other plan. And so it's beautiful. Continue on, my dear.
Well, thank you. And then there was just another couple instances, one in high school, one in college, where I had someone that was jealous of me because I don't get involved in all of the drama ever. I stay away from drama. I just love on people and I include everybody. And they were jealous of me. And so they created some rumors, and I had to learn at that point how to still love on them and not be filled with hate and anger, and continue to keep my chin up and not talk negatively about people, because people wanted me to start talking negatively about them, and I wasn't going to go that direction. So again, it was just one of those pivotal moments where I learned that, the flesh will want us to do those kinds of things, but we have to listen to what God is telling us, which is, this isn't about you, and this is about being the best person that you can be, no matter what's happening in your life and the circumstances you're going through.
Oh, yes, so true. And it's so easy to get wrapped up in our emotion. Our emotions are so powerful in those moments when we really want to say something ugly or we really want to gossip about someone. And we'll talk about that a little bit more once we get on into the presentation. But yes, it's so, so crucial and important that we remember that we have greater plans. And people's words can only go so far. They can only penetrate so far, and that point that they can penetrate is how far we let it penetrate us. And so as you're thinking about that, Lisa, I do want to touch on how many people are in your company?
I know there's over 1 million customers. I don't know particularly how many, that are effectively working the business side.
Over 1 million customers, and you are in the top 1% of, wow. Holy cow. You are like this beautiful example of what success looks like. And I just admire you. I admire your strength, the things that you've been through, your story, your journey. And so, what has been some of the most difficult times that you've had to maybe pull out of and try to focus back on what your overall purpose was in life and in business?
So, my business was truly a God thing also. At the time I was dealing with, my husband at the time had come and told me that he had an STD and he had gotten it from somebody at a strip club. And I don't know that I believe him completely, but at that moment I was a stay-at-home mom. I had 5 young children, and I was afraid of how I was going to be able to support my kids if this marriage did not continue. And I just prayed and prayed at that time to God, please bring me an answer. Please bring me something that I can do so that if something happens and I don't have this marriage intact, how can I support my family? And that's when Melaleuca came into my life, and it was such a blessing. And even my business growth was completely, God was guiding it and protecting me, so that when, 8 years later, I did go through a divorce. Pretty tough one at that. Also, a lot of, I realized at the time that it was a lot of verbal and emotional abuse, and still just a lot of control, and there was a little bit of physical, but not too much, and just a lot of mind games. I was able to continue to just have that paycheck coming in every single month, but I could focus on my kids, focus on my personal health as well. And it was a growing time as well. I learned too that nothing's more important than your family and your kids and their health. And so having the business on the side helped me to be able to continue to support my kids. And today still it's here because it's helping me help them go through college, and supporting all of their fun things. My girls dance, and so they get to do all the dance that they want to, and volleyball and basketball and softball, and
And I love watching you post all your pictures, your little girl and her dance, and it's just like the most beautiful thing. And I think that's why exactly I was drawn to you, for you to share your story, because it's just remarkable. Like looking at your posts now and seeing who the person that you are now is just this beautiful array of brokenness in the past that has just been put back together and made into this beautiful thing. And I know that we all have days where we struggle. I know that we all have days where purpose is not in sight. But Lisa is a perfect example of staying on track and then like reaching this beautiful array of just what God has planned for you, and how good it can be if we just trust in Him and we just move forward. And so, Lisa, thank you so much for sharing. It's just been absolutely amazing to hear just a little snippet of your story and just to become more familiar with you. And I know that what we're going to share the rest of the time is just going to be impactful, and it's just going to bring even more light to your journey. And so thank you so much for being here. It's absolutely awesome to have you. So
Thank you so much, Amber. I appreciate you inviting me.
thank you, Lisa. It's a God thing. I love it. All right. I'm going to go ahead and mute everybody out so we don't have all the background noise. And then we're going to go back to screen share. Okay. Can everybody see the PowerPoint? Just nod at me. Yes. Everybody see the PowerPoint? Okay. All right. All right. So here is where this leads. Talking about Lisa's story. And so this is one thing that I found. I found it weeks and weeks ago when I was beginning my research, and I know that it was supposed to be shared tonight. And so it's just like I knew weeks ago that this was going to be my opener. So, and there's this little guy, little diaphragm, and then there's a guy coming out of a bottle, like a genie in the bottle. And so the genie in the bottle says, "You have awakened me from the lamp. You may have 3 wishes. What does your heart desire?" And the little man says, "I'd like to have a hamster, or have a human-sized hamster ball." And so he gets what he wants, and he's inside of this ball. And then the genie comes back and he says, "Any other wishes?" Why would I need any other wishes? And I think sometimes in life we get in that ball. We get in that bubble, and we don't want to get back out because it's comfortable. And we don't have to deal with any people. And we can just roll around and be happy in our own little world. But let me tell you, if you stay inside your hamster ball, you're never going to find your purpose. It's comfortable. That ball is really comfortable. Okay, so as we're thinking about a ball, and so we're used to, in human history, building up walls or a hamster ball around ourselves. And in more literal terms, more thinking terms, we started building walls back in the Bible times. And so you look down here at this picture in the middle below the heart. That is the wall of Jericho. That's some of the remains of the wall of Jericho. And then we got the Great Wall of China over there to the right. And so up here at the top is the oldest fort in the United States in St. Augustine, Florida. And then over there to the left, that's a picture of me. And if you look right here on the fort, there's a tower right there. Like, can you see the tower? Okay, that's me standing inside of the tower on St. Augustine when we were there last year. And so I am just engulfed in history. I'm a history buff. I'm a research guru. And so I'm the girl that's like going around and taking pictures of all the little like cards by stuff. And I'm like, oh my goodness, that was the first penny spent here in 1847. You know, that is me. I'm taking a picture of it, and I am reading it later when we get back to the hotel room, because I have an impatient husband who will not let me stand there and read because I'm a really, really slow reader. And so I got to like absorb and think about every word. And so I just found that if I take a picture and read it later, like then I can learn, and I got to see it. And so anyway, we learn these things from a very, very early age in life. But more than that, more than this, we learn to put walls up around our hearts. When we get hurt, like Lisa was saying, when we get hurt and people are spreading rumors about us, and it hurts so bad. When that teacher in school told you you're stupid and you're never going to make anything of yourself, like you instantly build a wall. Like when you look in the mirror and you tell yourself that you're not good enough and you're not pretty enough and you'll never be anything, you're building a wall. You're building a wall that is protecting your heart, not only from the world, but it's like protecting you from your purpose. Your purpose is coming knocking. It's trying to take down the wall, and you can't because you have got a closed mind over here. It says, sorry, we're closed, and it's got a picture of a mind on it. Do you have a closed mind or not? Do you kind of feel like you're not going to amount to anything? Did you come to this call because you're like, well, maybe she could give me some hope, but not really? Are you sticking your head in the sand like this ostrich right here? Are you going, I don't really have a purpose. This is stupid. This is all mumbo jumbo. And she's talking because she feels like talking. No, I'm not talking because I feel like talking. I'm talking because this could change someone's life. And I'm going to keep talking until I'm told not to talk anymore. Because if I don't talk, then I'm not doing what I'm called to do and what my purpose is. And so I'm going to keep talking. I'm going to keep sharing. I'm going to keep researching. I'm going to keep doing all these things because I've had to go through this process earlier this year where, and some of you guys on the call know all about it, I've had to take down those bricks around my heart one by one. I know what it feels like to live in the middle of a fort. I know what it feels like to live in a closed mind environment where I feel like I'm the only one that's right and that no one else could ever be right. So if you're living in that world today and you came to this call seeking something, if for nothing else, I hope that you will notice and recognize the walls that you've built around yourself, because it's human nature. It's human nature to build walls of protection up around ourselves. Okay? But until we start tearing down a little bit of the wall, we can't let purpose come in and fill us. And so, if anything else, I hope you take that away from the call tonight. All right. So, are you experiencing life outside of you? Are you getting outside of your bubble? I'm getting excited. Sorry. Had a little bit too much caffeine today, y'all. Okay, so if you are not living each day with excitement, energy, and passion, so this right here is passion. And I'm not saying, like, I am completely authentically full of passion right now. And the reason that I am full of passion is because I'm working in what I love. I'm encouraging people. I'm sharing the research that I love to share. And so I am working 100% in my purpose right now. And so then you're not living true to your life purpose if you don't feel this way. And I'm not saying that I feel this way all the time. There was sometimes during my research I was going, what am I doing this for? Like, I don't get it. Like, why am I having to read all these articles? Because I'm really a slow reader, y'all. It takes me a long time. And so that's what I'm saying. 60 hours is a whole lot of time to me to put in towards this topic. And so it was a lot of work. But you know what? I didn't do it for y'all. I don't do any of these topics for y'all. I do it for myself. And then I share it with y'all. Because I know it would bless you like it's blessed me. Okay? So I did it because I needed to pour into myself what purpose was. So here's the ideal of purpose. So purpose is the red dot in the middle. And so you love it. You're great at it. You are paid for it. I'm not paid for it yet. Maybe in the future. The world needs it. And so those are the 4 main capacity things that go together. They make your passion, your mission, your profession, and your vocation. And then it's all tied into the middle. Now I'm going to talk just a little bit later about not only finding passion in your career and your purpose and your drive and all the things that you do in life, you have to find it in every aspect of your life, in your marriage, in your family, in your career. All those things across the board, you have to find a purpose in all of them. You can't just be floating around thinking the only thing that you care about is your career. When you do that, you're not living your life purpose. Your life purpose is to serve all the people in your life, and that includes your husband or your wife. So we'll talk a little bit more about that later. I don't want to get up on a soapbox. Okay, so here's some problems with the bubble. Looking at the bubble aspect, we got this bubble around us. You may not even know you got a bubble around you. We're concerned with our pleasure and our comfort. We fear. Oh, the word fear, man. I've read the word fear probably 10,000 times doing this research. It's everywhere. You talk about purpose, fear this, fear that, fear this, fear moving forward, fear yada, yada, yada. The fear of being uncomfortable is also why we get anxious at the thought of new purpose. We fear getting out of the bubble, y'all. I don't want to get out of the bubble because I'm comfortable. Like, there's people out there, and I don't like people. Like, no, I'll just stay here. Like, you mean to grow my business, I have to get outside my bubble? Oh, my goodness. Like, I don't want to. Like, hello, that's the way we live. I'll just stay on Facebook today. I don't want to go network. I don't want to go make connections. I don't want to grow my business. I'll just stay here and I'll post on Facebook about how great my business is. Is that you? You have to get out. You have to build relationships. You have to get outside your bubble. Okay? So we don't want to look bad. We have a fear of failing. So we don't want to tackle tough things because we're, once again, comfortable. Comfortable. We procrastinate because, once again, fear of failing. Fear of discomfort. We relate to others with how it affects us, and this can cause pain and irritation. I tell you right now, when I'm comfortable and I'm upstairs reading my book, and my husband knocks on the door, and he says, "Sweetie, could you come downstairs and do this or this or that?" I don't like that too much, because I was right in the middle of that chapter, and I really don't feel like getting up and going downstairs, so it aggravates me, because I was comfortable reading my book, and I was comfortable with finishing my chapter before I did anything else. You get what I'm saying, ladies? Like, I'm comfortable. I don't want to be bothered. I don't want to be asking questions. When we get in that world, we're building up the wall of Jericho around us. We're not open to the opportunities that are around us because we're so shut off in our comfortableness. We expect people to try to give us what we want. I don't want Timothy to leave me alone so I can finish reading this book. I want to get through this chapter before he comes up here and asks me to do something. Because I'm comfortable. And when they don't get it, when I don't get what I want, when I don't get to stay upstairs and read my book and have my happy time, I get frustrated or angry. That is your first sign that you're living inside of your bubble. It all starts with your spouse, y'all. Starts with your kids. Starts with your relationships. It starts with all those things. And so as you're thinking about that, I want you to think about your purpose overall, but I want you to think about all the relationships that pour into it too, because they're all part of this bigger picture, okay? So breaking the bubble of comfort. So here's the thing. Things do not change. We change. We evolve. We get better. We grow up. You're seeing down here in the bottom, this is a picture of a guy with a soccer ball. This was me in college. This was me. I played soccer and I cheered and I loved life. And then I had an ACL tear. My whole world was turned upside down. I went from running 8 miles a day on the treadmill for my warm-up. That was before the game. To not being able to take a step on my own. You talk about a flipping upside down. That was a flip upside down. And I know I can totally relate to Lisa. My life totally changed in that moment. Then I went on a couple of weeks later to tear my other ACL in my other knee. And so it was just like this whole thing. And guess what? Had I not torn my knee, I wouldn't be sitting in front of y'all tonight. I wouldn't be leading this class. Now, at the time, did I know I'd be on a call leading? At that time when I tore my knee, I thought my life was ended. I thought everything was over. I thought my future was over and I couldn't do anything. I wasn't going to accomplish anything because I had no hope. So I ended up dropping out of college and then moving to Kansas City and finishing my degree later in business. But at that moment, I had no hope. Why did this happen to me? This was my only hope, God. I'm from a very poor town. I can't figure this out on my own. Like, this was my hope. This is how I was going to get out of here. Like, I wanted to do good things. Why? I didn't know that I was going to be on a call. I didn't know I was going to be on a radio show last week. I didn't know those things then. So if you're going through a hard time right now, just keep in mind, there's an end sight. There's something much greater coming you don't even know about. You don't even know about. There's an end story, because had I not messed my knees up, I wouldn't be sitting in front of you right now. It wouldn't have happened. And so, up here, where the magic happens, this is our comfort zone. This is our little bubble over here, hanging out. See, this is where the magic happens. Now, you got all these thought bubbles coming in, but I don't like being uncomfortable. I like staying at home. I like reading my books and staying on my computer. Like, I don't want to go to Bible study on Wednesday nights. Like, it just creeps me out. I don't know those women. They may not like me, and I just don't, I'm weird. I've got a weird accent. Like, they may not like my accent, so I'm not going to go. Like, but what if I fail? Like, what if I go and I get into Bible study and then, like, I say a stupid question and they all look at me like I'm stupid, and then, like, I just, like, leave because I'm upset and I'm hurt? Like, these are all questions we say to ourselves. Can you stand back? Can you hear me saying these things? That is how stupid we sound. We sound so stupid inside of our own head. Sometimes we have to get outside our own bubbles inside of our heads before we can move forward. We have to tell ourselves, that is the most crazy thing I've ever heard in my whole entire life, and I don't know why I'm saying it myself. I tell you what, when I was a kid, I wasn't planning on sharing this story, but when I was a kid, we didn't have a whole lot. We didn't have a whole lot of money for clothes and nice things, and we made 2 trips to the mall every year. And so we go once in the spring, and then we go once in the winter. See, it was a 2.5-hour drive to the closest mall, or closest inhabitants, I should say, because there is nothing where I'm from. The closest Walmart is 15 minutes away, and it still is one of the old Walmarts that closes at midnight, and they don't have a food section. Like, it's still one of the 1980s Walmarts, okay? And that's 15 minutes away from where I'm from. So we'd save up our money, and then me and my best friend, like, her mom would take us, or my mom would take, like, we trade turns. We go to the mall, and I went to Old Navy one time, and they had these little pullovers on sale, and I loved a yellow one. It was yellow fleece, and I loved it, and I bought it. And I remember walking into school with that yellow fleece shirt on. And one of the boys, I got picked on all the time. Like, my hair got picked on, I got picked on. It was just an ongoing process. But one of the boys said to me, he said, "You look like a school bus." School bus? You're saying that about this shirt that I just drove 2.5 hours to go to the mall to buy? Really? I saved up all year to buy? And I just sit down and I took it. I never wore that yellow shirt again. I think back now, I'm like, that's the stupidest thing I ever did. But I was a kid. I was insecure. I didn't want to look like a school bus. I wanted to be unnoticed. I wanted to be at the back of the class where I didn't get picked on. You see, and sometimes when people say stuff like that to us, we let it absorb into our mind, and then we start building a block wall, brick by brick, and brick by brick is all the things that people say to us, and once we start having all these things said to us, we start building a brick, and before we know, we got the wall of Jericho living in our minds, and we're shut off, and we don't have an open mind anymore. We don't have an open heart. We're not open to learning, experiencing, and being different, and being creative. We want to just fit in. We want to fit in so nobody tells us that we look like a school bus. You see, I would have worn that yellow shirt now with pride, and somebody would now have said I look like a school bus, I'd say, yep, I sure do. I'm bright as the sunshine. I couldn't do it then. Some of y'all on this call, you're back where I was in middle school. Hurt, rejected, wanting to blend in. You're comfortable. You're living inside of your bubble of insecurity, your bubble of protection, your bubble of comfort. And when we live inside our bubble, greatness doesn't happen, and we feel unfulfilled, and we never find purpose. And we wake up every day going, Why am I here? I don't understand it. And so I wanted y'all to look at this. This is just kind of a cool diagram I found. I thought it was really cool. And so just having an open mind is having possibilities, potential, knowledge, experience, limitless possibility, inner imagination, solutions, cures, positive. We go over to the closed mind side. You got beliefs, locks, barriers, walls. Imagine that. And so when you have an open heart and an open mind, there's nothing that can take that away from you. And I've just recently learned that. I've recently learned to take those walls down and to not just think about me. It's about other people. And so, all right, what happens What happens outside of our bubble? So we start breaking down those walls. We start taking it down brick by brick. And like Lisa said so eloquently, when you start forgiving all those people, all those bricks that were built, you start giving grace and love, things start changing. You start changing. Your world is opened up. And you can feel love for the first time, not only for yourself, but for other people. We can't love other people when we have walls built up around our hearts. We can't. It's physically impossible. Like, we could probably stick them a flower every once in a while through our wall. But you can't go through your wall and give them a hug. You can't go through your wall and give them a kiss and tell them that you love them. The only way that you can do that, I'm not talking about physically go through your wall. I'm talking about spiritually, emotionally going through that wall. You can't, because you're held back by all this other garbage in your past. So when you start taking down the wall, when someone says or does something, it's not about us. See, we start taking that bowl down. It becomes about them. How can I serve my husband today? How can I help him today? How can I encourage him today? How can I love him right where he's at today? Because guess what? He isn't where I am. See, women mature a whole lot quicker than men. Just the facts of life, y'all. I'm sorry if there's men on this call that are offended by that, but it's just true. They just don't mature as quick as we do. And so sometimes we have to have grace on them. There's times I pray and I say, God, please help me love him the way you love him. I'll hit my knees as quick as I can say it, because sometimes it takes me saying that. It takes me believing that, and it takes me giving him grace, because in relationships, it gets hard. And we don't want to fight for it. We want to give up. We don't want to be. We don't want to work. We don't want to get outside our bubble of comfort. Once again. So when we have an urge for temporary pleasure, so TV, social media is totally one of mine. Guilty right here. And then food, shopping. I love shopping. I grew up in a town without no mall, so I really love shopping. Okay, I love going to the mall and shopping. So we can see that this urge is a simple passing physical sensation and not the center of the universe. See, when I first moved to Kansas City, I go shopping almost every single day. I loved going. Didn't have to buy anything. I buy stuff a lot, but I didn't have to buy anything. I just walk around. It was like I was wandering aimlessly through Hobby Lobby, reading all the signs and pictures, and I really didn't have a purpose for getting home. And you see, that was a simple physical sensation. See, I can drive right past Hobby Lobby now, and if I don't have a reason to go in, then I don't go in. And if I've got things to do, then I go home and do them. See, that's purpose. I don't need to go and feed that desire in my mind at that moment. Okay? So we start to see that our personal desires are trivial. They're so trivial. I want an ice cream. I don't feel like getting out of my bubble to give it or to go get it. I don't feel like getting out of my house. Like, I don't feel like it. Okay. That's still your comfort level. That's what you're fighting. And so it's personal desires are trivial. Going and getting ice cream is trivial. Now, your frustration with not wanting to get out of the house, it may become more than trivial because you're like, I want ice cream. And you're telling your husband, I want an ice cream. Go get me an ice cream. He don't feel like getting out of the house either. So isn't that trivial? Like we're complaining for no reason. Just a thought. So there's more than our little fears, including the pain and suffering of other people and the compassion for them. You see, when we're able to take our thoughts and our being off ourselves, just take it off ourselves for a while. Now, you may be going through a hard time right now. I'm not telling you to quit thinking about the loved one you lost. I'm not telling you to quit thinking about maybe something traumatic has happened in your life. That's not what I'm saying at all. There'll come a time when you're able to do that, but there's a healing process. There's a healing process that I had to go through since losing my mom and brother in 2012. It's a process, y'all. I didn't get here overnight. It took hundreds of people pouring into me to get me to the point that I'm at now. It took myself pouring into myself to get to where I'm at now. It is so much more and Lisa is so much more than what you see on the screen. Her beautiful picture on the screen. She's so much more. So many more people have poured into her. So much more information has been poured into her. Love has been poured into her. Grace has been poured into her. God's love has been poured into her. All those things have been poured into her, making her this beautiful array, this beautiful picture that we can't even comprehend. And we look at and we think, oh, she's beautifully put back together. She's awesome. She's perfect. But there's a whole lot of brokenness in that picture that she's had to come out of and make this beautiful picture of who she is now. We're going to run about 5-10 minutes over. So if y'all want to stay, you can. You don't feel obligated. But I just want to throw that in there. So we can when we begin to tie our daily actions and talents into making the lives of other people more meaningful, that is when we're like totally outside our bubble. Okay? So, the wider view in our life purpose, we see the needs of others and feel their suffering. Okay? So, I'm a huge empath. I love people. I hurt for them. My heart breaks for them. Okay? When they're going through hard times, I want to fix everything. But I've came to the realization that I can't fix everything. The only thing that I can do is drop down to my knees and pray for them sometimes. Now, there's other things that I can do. There's connections I can make. There's things I can do, make a meal for them. There's other things that you can do too, but that's another topic. But when we work to make their lives better and lessen their suffering, we start walking in our purpose. We learn skills to be good at our purpose, you see. I would claim, and other people would claim, for me to be a grief expert. I walked through grief in 2012 and 2013, but I didn't just walk through grief. That's not what made me an expert about it. It was what I did following the grief that made me an expert. I started reading every book that I could get in my hands about grief. Because I'm an analyzer. I wanted to think about it. I wanted to know the facts. I wanted to know why I was feeling the way I was feeling and why I was struggling. I read over 30 books about grief. Sat through 3 or 4 different grief recovery groups because I wanted different perspectives. I wanted different teachers' outlooks. I learned every single thing I could about grief because I was going to take my experience and I was going to partner it with knowledge, and I was going to be able to go out and help people that were going through loss. I fell in to my purpose in that moment. I didn't know it then. I just thought, I'm just going to learn this stuff so it gets me better, and then I'm going to be able to help other people with it. But it's turned out to be so much more beautiful than that, y'all. I have been able to help so many people in their darkest moments because I chose. We have to choose to pour into ourselves. We have to choose it. There's no one else in this world, your husband, your spouse, your kid, anybody. They can't make you pour into yourself. The only person that can do that is you. And to be honest with you, it may aggravate them. It may irritate them because it's taking time away from them. It's taking time away from what they want you to be doing. See, when I was reading those 30 books, there wasn't a whole lot of time to do anything else because I was consumed. I was learning. Every extra moment that I had, I was pouring in to learning. And so sometimes it's hard, but are you going to stay true to your purpose? As we go about our daily work, we can tie our actions to greater purpose. So every action, every time you speak to someone, every time that you check out at the grocery store, every time you come in contact with someone and you smile, it becomes purposeful. Just like my yoga instructor says all the time, she says, you're moving with purpose and placement. Everything in your life becomes purposefully put in place. So are you purposely doing everything that you do? So, and we learn to say no to distractions. So when you're in the middle of learning about grief and your Bible study group at church is wanting you to do a study on something completely the other topic, here's your response, and you may want to write this down. I've got it wrote right here. Y'all see? I got it wrote. It's by a note that Timothy wrote me, but see, here's my note, and I got it stuck on my desktop to remind me. It says, I'm sorry, but I cannot give it the attention it deserves right now. I'm sorry, but I can't give it the attention it deserves right now. My attention is on learning about this or that. And so write that down. It's been such a deal changer for me. Such a deal changer. So finding purpose in all areas of our lives. So it's not just about your career. It's about your overall life, your family, your friendships, your parenthood, the career, the marriage, the hobbies. But for me, I'm not saying this for you, maybe for you, but for me, it's my faith. You see, I have a greater purpose. I have a bigger plan in mind. I have a bigger desire in mind. I know that at the end of life, this is not the end. And so my faith gives me that stability to move forward throughout my days when nothing else seems to hold true to that. And so all of these things make up the spectrum of purpose. And so some of y'all came to this call thinking you're going to learn about career purpose. No. Career purpose pours us in. It's definitely like a funnel. But all these things are at the top of that funnel. And then sometimes it hinders down. But your family should always be at the top. Your marriage should always be at the top. Your friendships should always be at the top, because ultimately those are what's most important in life. It's not your career and money and success and fame and sharing your story. It's not important. What's important is your legacy. What legacy are you leaving? What will people remember about you? What will be the first thing that they think of when your memory pops up in their head when we're gone? That is what you're going for. That's what you're striking for, whether you're a person of faith or you're not a person of faith. That is what we're going for. Ultimately, when we think about purpose, think about it. What do we want to be known for? Do we want to be known for serving at the homeless shelter? Do we want to be known for praying for people out in public? Do we want to be known? What do we want to be known for? For helping a stranger? For helping a friend? What do we want to be known for? Because overall, that's the end purpose, the end finding. So how do I get out of my bubble? You may say to me, Amber, that's great. All this information you share is very motivating, it's very encouraging, very inspiring, but I don't know how to get out of my bubble. Okay, so you must see when you're in your bubble, when you're getting frustrated and your blood's boiling and you want to scream and you're in your bubble. You're in your bubble. Do you see the bigger picture? Do you have an end mind? Do you have a legacy that you want to leave behind? Is it up there in the sky written out for you? Are you pouring into yourself self-development wise? Do you wish others well? Are you wishing harm on your enemies? Do you cuss every time you think about them? You're in your bubble. See how you can help them. Ever thought about that? Ever thought about asking yourself how you could help the person that hurt you? Because ultimately, doesn't it come down to helping those who have hurt us? That's what grace is. We can live that life. What a legacy we leave behind. And then just repeating this process. So relationship to fear. Fear is welcomed. Fear is a response to growth. Fear is a sign that change is occurring. We're getting outside of our bubble. Fear is meant to be leaned into. Are we leaning into it? Are we fighting it? We have this wall around us. Are we fighting going through that wall? Or are we jumping through it and busting the walls down? We all have different approaches to how we can look at it. So here is my outline. This is what I found. Finding my purpose that has made all the difference in the world. If you didn't take notes during this call, this might be where you want to take notes. And so the first thing is finding out who you are. Who is Amanda? Who is Lisa? Who's Nancy? Who's Laura? Personality profile testing. Have you done a personality profile? Have you learned about your specific talents and your gifts and what your personality works with? Because if you haven't, that's a great place to start. Learning, acknowledging, and nurturing natural talents and gifts. If you can sing, beautiful. You know how bad I wanted to be a country music star when I was little? Oh my goodness, I'd have gave anything, but I can't sing worth a lick. Okay, so God didn't bless me with a singing voice. I wish He would have. But what are your talents and gifts? I speak to people. I'm talented at it. You see, I was in talent shows when I was a kid. I got up there and I sang the heck out of those songs out of key. Little did I know was that preparing me to speak in front of people. It was part of the process. I was fearless when I would get up on stage as a little girl. I just loved seeing people smile and laugh. It wasn't about me. It wasn't about me being famous. It was about just seeing people get enjoyment out of what I was doing. Do you find enjoyment in what you're doing? Learning your spiritual gifts is another one. There's a lot of churches that offer spiritual gifts class. If you'd like to take a spiritual gifts class, my church offers one. I'd be happy to get you the information if you're here in Kansas City. It was absolutely eye-opening to me. I found out that my spiritual gift is encouragement. Duh. It's like right there on top of the head. Like, seriously, I know my spiritual gift is encouragement, but learning it and seeing it on paper after I took the assessment was just something about that said, you're supposed to encourage people every day, all day long. And so that's something I really embraced about seeing it on paper. So learning what motivates you. There's a book called What Motivates Me. I took my motivation test this past week, and my number one motivator is empathy. Imagine that. My second one is friendship. So I love pouring into y'all because y'all are my friends. My third one is impact. So I want to make a change in the world. I want to have a big impact on the world. You see, when I was a little girl, I didn't have a desire to get up on stage and sing because I wanted it to be about me. I wanted to get up on stage. I wanted to be impactful to the people who were listening and watching and seeing. It's always been about impact to me. How can I make a ripple in this big pond of life? So finding out what motivates you. Factoring in any mental blocks or mental disabilities, this can be a whole nother topic in itself, but learning yourself, learning if you struggle with depression, learning if you struggle with sleep disorders, learning if you have anxiety, learning if you're like me and have ADHD. How can I work with this? How can I get better at this? How can I learn about why I think the way I think, and then maybe change my patterns and the way I do things to adapt to make the world better around me, because it's not about me. It's about the people around me, and how can I make the people around me more comfortable? You see, when we get outside of ourselves, things start clicking. So, and then our past experiences, my past experience with grief, maybe your past experience with trauma, sharing our stories, being encouragement to those people that need encouragement and love in their life. So recognizing negative thinking patterns. When you're telling yourself and you're playing in your head over and over and over that you're stupid and you have no purpose and that you're not good enough and that you're not beautiful enough and you're never going to be anything, those are negative thinking patterns. Get on YouTube and type in a motivational video at the top and watch it. Stop beating yourself up. Because when you're beating yourself up, you're in your bubble and you're not going any further. You're stopped, dead in your tracks. So, action items this month. And I can't wait to hear some of your stories about how you've taken what you've learned tonight and you've applied it in your life and you've moved forward and you've went and you've made a difference. So, living on purpose. What is every single day? Just like that, like I said about yoga. The teacher says, move with purpose. Every move of your finger, everything you type on Facebook, everything you say to your coworkers, every single thing is on purpose. So start thinking and being mindful of purpose. Stop waiting for things to happen. Go out and make them happen. Get outside of your bubble of comfort. You see, breaking out of our bubble, and AKA doing something that matters, it brings us to a new comfort zone, and then we just have to keep repeating it and repeating it and repeating it. And see, then at the end of this beautiful process, we become purposeful. Our life has meaning. There's goodness and grace and all the things that start pouring on us. And so over here, help people plus your talent. I'm not good at singing. I can't sing worth a lick, even though Loretta Lynn's my cousin, y'all. I cannot sing, but I sure can speak. God gifted me with that. He put me up there on the stage when I was 5 years old, singing off key, because he knew that I was going to be speaking to y'all one day. I ain't embarrassed at all. I ain't shy. I ain't timid. Just being myself. You see, I sang one time when I was 5 or 6 years old. I got on stage. I took one of the boys from my class up on stage and I made him stand behind me. And I sang Any Man of Mine, and I had my cowgirl boots on and I stomped the floor. That's what we have to do when we're on purpose. And you see, when I sang, any man of mine better walk the line. Yeah, I had him walk in front of me. Are we living in purpose? Are we walking the line ourselves? Are we just telling all the other people in our lives that they better walk the line? We don't want anything to do with them. What are we doing? We need to ask ourselves. So go make things happen. This is my journal right here, y'all. This is my journal. This has been my journal the last 2 months when I've been struggling with this topic of purpose. And you see how much is wrote. Like over half. Over half of it is completely filled. Page to brim. A purpose. Writing about purpose. Okay? So, that leads us to the end of tonight. I know we're over 13 minutes already, and I'm so sorry, but this was such a good topic, and there were so many things to share, and so I'm so glad that you have stuck it out with us, because I'm going to tell you about next month, and next month is going to be a big topic that I wish I would have had more time to talk about tonight, but it's going to be on the topic of fear. And so there's going to be, after this slide, another one, but one I want to talk to you about is I'm going to be giving away a basket full of purpose. And so it's going to have all kinds of encouraging things in it that's going to encourage you over the next month. And so here is how you will enter to be entered into the drawing for this basket. And so there's going to be some awesome things in there. So you definitely want to go and do all these things. This is all posted on the event for tonight. And so if you just go follow this, y'all, I don't ask you for money. I don't ask you for fame. I don't ask you for any of those things. I just do this out of my heart. And so if there's anything that I could ask you to do, once again, it goes back to my motivators. I'm not motivated by money. I'm motivated by impact. And to be impactful, we have to share this message with other people. And so that's my motivator. And so what I'm asking you guys to do to help me with my motivator and to keep me going and keep me driven to do what I've done in this episode and in episodes in the future is just share this with your friends. Invite someone to a call. Be purposeful about saying, I'm going to have a girlfriend's night at my house and I want y'all to come and then we're going to listen to the Power Hour. But getting on inviting 100 and 200 friends if you have them. See, that's how you feed my motives. It's not money to me. Never been driven by money. I could care less. So if you could just share this with your friends, it would mean more to me than you could ever, ever, ever know. Okay? So this is just an overview of what next call is going to look like. And so if you want to read that, put March 24th, 7 p.m. on your calendar, because it's going to be a topic you're not wanting to miss. And this is a topic that I'm struggling with right now. So y'all are going to walk down this journey with me. You're going to walk down this journey of exploring and discovering and gaining knowledge. And so next month when I share this topic, it's going to be a fresh topic on my mind. It's not something that I'm just learning to put PowerPoint slides together. It's something that I'm learning about on this journey with you, which is really cool, I think. And so last thing I want to touch on is another one of my motivators is I love writing people's notes. Okay, my mom passed away in 2012, and the last thing that I got from her was a note in the mail, postmarked the day before she passed away, and I actually got it after her funeral. And so notes are a huge thing to me. They're a huge motivator, and there's just something to cling on to when we have a note in our hand. And so I want to write you guys just maybe a little note. I'm not going to use your address for marketing information. I may send you a postcard reminding you about the Power Hour. But most importantly, I just want to drop you a note in the mail and tell you how important and appreciated and how loved you are. Okay? So if you would like to receive a note in the mail from me, send me a message on Facebook with your name, address, and phone number and email. That way I can stay in contact with you. Okay? So I'm going to stop the share now. I'm so thankful for y'all. I know that we have ran over on time. I apologize, but this was a very in-depth topic. It was hard to cover in the time that we had. And so I just want to, I want to end in prayer real quick because that's what the Spirit's telling me to do. So I'm just going to do it. And so after that, we'll just log off the call. If y'all have any questions, feel free to message me on Facebook. Send me your questions and I'll be happy to answer them. So Lord, I just pray over each and every single voice and mind that was here tonight and presence tonight. I also pray for all the people that are going to be watching this on the YouTube channel, Lord, I just pray that you have your hand on them, that you are helping them and opening their hearts and their minds as well. And so let us go out. Let us make things happen in our world. Let us change. Let us be impactful. Let us be motivated and encouraged to be purposeful in every single action, word, and deed. Lord, we just pray all this in your high and holy name. Amen. All right. Y'all have a beautiful night. This has been absolutely wonderful. And so I hope this has blessed you. I hope that you're encouraged. If this has blessed you and encouraged you, go to next month's event, the Fear event, and post a comment. Tell me what you thought. Tell me how it changed your thinking bubble, how you got outside your bubble with what I shared. That would be absolutely wonderful. And then the people in the future can come and read those and be encouraged to join in next month. So I hope y'all have a blessed night. I'm thinking of you. I'm praying for you. And I'm hoping nothing but the best for you. And I'm hoping that through your journey and through finding purpose, that you understand and you realize that you are divinely created for a much bigger purpose. We can create and we can do. You see, Walt Disney was turned down for a loan 223 times before he created Mickey Mouse. And so we can be rejected, we can fear rejection, but if we don't give up and we're persistent in finding our purpose and finding our calling, there's nothing in the world that can hold us back and stop us. And so I hope you're encouraged tonight. I love y'all so much, and I just hope that this is poured into you. God bless you, and have a wonderful night. Take care.